Once we present the truth in love, it's up to those who hear the message to receive and obey or not. The choice is up to them. Top of the morning to you. When we consider Matthew 10 with the mind of love and a firm determination to get to know God better, we find that Jesus sent the disciples out to preach the kingdom of heaven is at hand, or in other words, close proximity to the lost people of Israel. Jesus warned them he was sending them out like sheep in the midst of wolves. He told them to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. In other words, their job was to get in, preach the kingdom's good news without violence and in a non-threatening way. It was almost like he was saying, let the message speak for itself. Don't distract from it by stirring up trouble. The message was going to be controversial itself to the point that Jesus said in verse 17, be on guard against man, whose nature is direct opposition to God, for they will flog you in the synagogues. They will arrest you and bring you to court. Verse 18, bring you before governors and kings because of me. But don't worry about your defense or what to say. Verse 19 says, the words will be given to you at that very moment. Verse 20, for it is not you speaking, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. In verse 34, he tells them to not be deceived. He and his message were not meant to bring peace on earth. Rather, he came to bring a sword of division. Where in verse 35, a man's enemies will end up being of his own household. In verse 37, anyone who chooses their family over the message, I declare they are not worthy of me. Verse 38, the same for those who hear the message and don't obey by picking up their cross and following him. They aren't worthy either. While Jesus told them not to bring anything on their journey with them, he didn't leave them defenseless. Verse 1 tells us he gave them power and authority over unclean spirits to drive them out. He gave them power and authority to cure all kinds of diseases and power and authority to cure all kinds of weaknesses and infirmities. So in verses 7 through 8, they were to preach, cure the sick, raise the dead, cleanse the lepers, and drive out demons freely. Word of encouragement, Jesus told the disciples that if their audiences they preached to refused to listen, shake the dust of that town from their feet, verse 14. That would be their way of saying that we are no longer responsible for the results of their disobedience. We've done all that we can do. That's the same with us when we preach the gospel. At some point, we have to let go and let God have room to judge them. For verse 15 says, and in the day of judgment, they will be judged like Sodom and Gomorrah. We love them enough to tell them the truth. We just can't force them to obey. Have a great day.